Hey guys, Mobile Geezer here, and I've got an interesting article, another possible ban, this time about the TP Link router. And although I do have some hacker articles to get to, when I saw this one yesterday, I thought, let me get this out to you guys because a bunch of us probably have TP Link routers and might be thinking of buying one. So I've got this article on Tom's Guide, so let's go check it out.
Let's do this!
So as I said, it's on Tom's Guide. Came out 2 days ago, and it was written by Scott Yonker, who does a lot of their articles. This Chinese router company with 65% market share in the U.S. could be banned. What you need to know. And we'll question that 65% market share later on in the article. The U.S. government has one of the most popular router brands on Amazon in its crosshairs. Let's drop it into reader view and drop some of these ads. TP-Link routers are some of the most popular in the United States. However, they could be facing a ban within the next calendar year, according to a new report from the Wall Street Journal. The company, based out of Shenzhen, China, is reportedly under investigation by a trio of U.S. government agencies, including Departments of Commerce, Department of Defense, and Department of Justice, due to security concerns and potential ties to Chinese cyber attacks. Sources told the Journal that routers from TP-Link allegedly ship with security vulnerabilities, and the company is resistant to address these flaws. The report does not indicate that TP-Link routers were used in the huge telecommunications provider's data breach earlier this year, which we reported on. That breach, which reportedly hit both AT&T and Verizon, among others, was confirmed to be carried out by the Chinese hacking group Salt Typhoon. They've become pretty famous, which supposedly has ties to the Chinese government. However, Microsoft's threat intelligence group released a report in October that found TP-Link routers largely the most compromised devices in a Chinese password spray attacks, causing the hack's nation-state threat activity. That assessment tracked attacks going back to August 2023. TP-Link has been under investigation by at least the Defense Department since August of this year, when it opened an investigation into the vulnerabilities of Chinese routers. A House committee called for an investigation into the company's routers around the same time. Oh, and I just wanted you guys to know, there is an article that came out today that the U.S. Secretary of Commerce has said that these bans against China are just a waste of time. I'm not going to put that article up today, but I probably will include it in Friday Night Tech Talk for the end of the year this Friday. So back to the article. Lawmakers wrote TP-Link's unusual degree of vulnerabilities and required compliance with PRC law are in and of themselves disconcerting. When combined with the PRC government's common use of SOHO, small office, home office, routers like TP-Link to perpetrate extensive cyber attacks in the United States, it becomes significantly alarming. Tom's Guide reached out to the Irvine-based U.S. subsidiary of TP-Link for comment, and a company spokesperson provided further details on these vulnerabilities, saying, "We fully acknowledge that vulnerabilities exist across the industry. However, contrary to claims of widespread vulnerabilities, comparative data places TP-Link on par with, or in some cases ahead of, other major industry players in terms of security outcomes. For example, public vulnerability data sourced from recognized security repositories like CVE Details and VulDB shows that TP-Link's rate of vulnerabilities per product is significantly lower than those of other leading manufacturers." Meanwhile, a spokesperson told the Journal that the company welcomes opportunities to work with the government and to demonstrate that our security practices are fully in line with industry security standards and to demonstrate our ongoing commitment to the U.S. market, U.S. consumers, and addressing U.S. national security risks. The U.S. versus China and bans. Whether under Trump, who banned the sale of Huawei products in the U.S., to Biden, whose administration is working on banning TikTok and DJI drones, these sorts of bans have largely been enacted under the auspices of national security and claimed threats of Chinese spying or hacking activity. But of course, our Secretary of Commerce disagrees with these things, obviously. However, unlike Huawei and DJI, a TP-Link would affect millions of people, businesses, and both federal and local government agencies. That's very true. If a ban is enacted, I should say ban, I guess, it will most likely originate from an office created under the first Trump administration, the Office of Information and Communications Technology and Services, which was granted the power to prohibit companies from designated nations from selling their products or services in the U.S. That office recently banned the Russian software company Kaspersky from selling its antivirus software in the U.S. That's going to affect a lot of people too. You can count on that. A TP-Link ban would be massive. The Journal claims that TP-Link routers make up nearly 65% of the U.S. market and are in everything from people's homes to government offices and military institutions. In general, TP-Link routers are much less expensive than competitors, and the Department of Justice is investigating whether those cheap prices are violating federal laws on attempts to create monopolies by selling its products for less than they cost to manufacture. A TP-Link spokesperson denied those charges, though. Update, this is an interesting one. A TP-Link spokesperson sent Tom's Guide a study which seems to show that TP-Link only has a 12% market share as compared to the 65% they were saying in the United States for consumers and only 2% for businesses. That study was reportedly done by the company Landsweeper, which has an interest in consulting and organizing IT systems from other companies. Makes you wonder, are they working for TP-Link? TP-Link spokespeople claimed that the 65% number came from the Wall Street Journal article, and they say that the writers of that article could not provide a source for that number. Well, yeah, it's just a lot of people just assume TP-Link is spread all over, and that's probably true. So it's probably somewhere in between the two. It is unclear from, I guess it should say, the Journal report where that number came from. We were also told that the company is based in Irvine, not Shenzhen. That appears to be a recent shift. A press release from May 2024 indicates that the company restructured with dual headquarters in the United States and Singapore, which is definitely not in China. The U.S. location opened in 2023. From that point on, Shenzhen disappears from press releases and is replaced by Irvine. From everything that Tom's Guide has found, the company was founded in Shenzhen and appears to still be operating it. So I would think them opening that office in Irvine in 2023 was probably trying to avoid exactly this situation. How to improve your router security. At Tom's Guide, TP-Link routers are featured quite often on our best Wi-Fi routers list, from the best gaming routers and best mesh Wi-Fi router systems to the best Wi-Fi 7 routers. This is due to their excellent performance, affordability, and the fact that they have a wide variety of devices to choose from. They've been very popular here for a very long time. We are monitoring this story and will reevaluate those choices as more information comes out, especially if a ban goes into effect. In the meantime, there are plenty of other alternatives to TP-Link on our list, from Netgear, Asus, Eero, and the other biggest names in home networking. If you do have a TP-Link router in your home or office, you might have concerns that it could potentially be compromised, though. The Microsoft analysis from October found that many TP-Link routers were compromised when people failed to change their default password, which is the first thing you should do when setting up a new router. Here are a few other steps you can take to make your router more secure. Create custom login credentials. Many, if not most, cybersecurity issues arise because people keep the default login credentials set by the manufacturer of their devices or their internet provider who supplied them. That's very true. Most routers have apps where you can update your login credentials, or you can do so by typing your IP address into your browser's address bar. As always, avoid common words or character combinations. No 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 passwords, for instance. Longer is better, and you want to use a combination of letters, symbols, and numbers to create strong passwords for all of your devices and accounts. Likewise, you never want to reuse passwords across accounts because if the hackers compromise one of them, they will then try those credentials to access your other account's devices. Update your firmware. Most router manufacturers, including TP-Link, regularly send out firmware updates that include security patches. Be sure to keep your router up to date and regularly check for firmware updates. And that's one thing I'm guilty of, not checking for the firmware updates. Ensure your firewall and Wi-Fi encryption are on. While firewalls and Wi-Fi encryption tend to be on by default, it never hurts to actually make sure they're still enabled. Having those turned on makes it more difficult for bad actors to see data sent between your router and connected devices. These settings can also be found in relevant router apps or websites. Likewise, you can also use one of the best VPNs to keep the data sent from your devices to the internet private and secure. Consider a new router. TP-Link gained massive market share over the years by undercutting the competition with less expensive routers. Since your router is something you and the rest of your household use every day, upgrading to a new one is a worthwhile investment, especially if you're worried. That's true. However, this could also give you a chance to outfit your house with the latest wireless tech in the form of Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7 if you're using an older Wi-Fi 5 or Wi-Fi 6 device. So, as I said, so many people have TP-Link routers. I have in the past too, although right now, the one here is Asus. I wanted to make sure I got this out to you guys. So, as always, comments are welcome. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you like my content, please share the videos with friends, family, or whomever you think might be interested. Subscribe if you haven't already done so, and be sure to click the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos that I upload. And please hit the thumbs up, as it does help with the algorithm.
So there's one other thing.
We all do better when we love each other.
Yeah.